takhle tábořit, Škodou 100 na Oravu, spěchám, proto riskuji, projíždím.
In the States, when it's time to pay, the server will come to you with a nice black book that has the check, and you kind of discreetly do this money exchange between change and tip. In Prague, it's not quite like that. The server will come to you either with a receipt, or they'll just tell you what your total is. And let's say your total is 142 crowns. You have to tell them on the spot how much you want to tip. Or if it was good service, you'd round up to the nearest 10, to be like 150 crowns. And then you give them your money. And you can either give them exact change or more than, and then they'll give you change based off of the number that you told them. I know this can seem a little uncomfortable to have to tell the server kind of in front of their face and in front of everybody how much you're going to tip them, but that's just how they do things here. So back home, it's thought to be polite for a man to hold the door open for a woman, particularly in a romantic setting. So the man opens the door, the woman walks through, and the man follows behind her. In Prague, it's a little different. It's actually thought to be polite for the man to open the door, for the man to walk through first, and then have the female follow after him, because the man is supposed to check in the restaurant or the bar that there's no fight that the woman could get hurt in. For all you boys out there who are thinking about possibly courting, check females while you're here. A good tip to know. Something else that I've noticed, a lot of people have either babies or dogs. It's almost like a Prague prop, like I feel like I should have a baby or a dog. Dogs are everywhere, they're on the trams, they're on the streets, they're in restaurants, but they're so well behaved. Owners will leave the dogs tied up on leashes and just leave them there, and the dogs will just sit and chill, waiting for the owner to be done with their shopping, and they won't bark, or the dog will not be on a leash, just kind of trotting down on the sidewalk. And I know that a lot of people that love dogs, they have this urge every time they see a dog to just run up to it and start petting it. I would highly suggest getting permission from the owner first, like at least make eye contact with them before making a beeline for the dog. There have been a couple times where I've been out with friends and one of them will just go to the dog and then the owner will get very upset, like, why are you touching my dog? In Prague, there seems to be two spheres as far as behavior. There's the public sphere and the private sphere. And in the public sphere, Czechs are very calm, cool, collected, and quiet. You know, they walk down the street, they don't really make eye contact, they kind of go where they're going, there's not much interaction with strangers on public transportation. Especially if they're by themselves, they're very by themselves. And even when they're with their friends on public transportation, they'll talk to each other, but it's at a very, hushed, lower tone. So one of the easiest ways to have yourself be known that you are American or a foreigner is to be loud. To be loud on the street and to be loud on public transportation. If you want the city to know that you do not belong here, go ahead. Be obnoxious, be loud, make jokes. But if you want to blend in, try to act more like them. Another random tidbit, don't lean on the walls, especially at Studio FAMU where you're going to have a lot of your classes, unless you want a little Czech woman to come up to you, wiping off your back and like, what's on you? Because you're going to get this white powder all over your coat and you're not going to know where it came from. Well, it comes from the paint on the walls. The paint that they use leaves this powdery residue that like when you wipe it, it gets on your hand. And if you lean against the wall, you're gonna get white stuff on your back. And it's not the easiest thing to get off. Like, you can try rubbing at it, but depending on what fabric your coat is, it doesn't come off that easily. So just don't lean on the wall. Don't do it.
Tomu já dám za ženu, dceru a půl jezede,
Prague is a very walking-friendly city. Although it has great public transportation, you can get almost anywhere on the tram. You can also get to a lot of places just by walking. So crosswalks here. There are quite a few that have, the stoplight where you're supposed to wait for the green man to tell you to cross. But there's a lot of places that are just the zebra crosswalk. And locals here in Prague approach these with no trepidation. They walk across because they have the right of way. And if you do pause, they're just going to keep going because the car drivers are very, very aggressive. Just cross the street, you'll get to where you're going much faster. But the trams always have the right of way. Always. Trams do not stop for people.
Jošin Spášin, dostal se na kámen. Jošin Spášin, tady je s ním